Welcome to GM Hubert.
Whoa. What's the deal? No intro?
Sorry, man. Boss said no more intro.
Dude. I am the boss.
Welcome to Hubert. Again, the outside is pretty bare with a road that stretches eternally and a beautiful skybox. There's some tables and chairs outside which are actually pretty nice. I would definitely enjoy Hubert out here. Hubert PNG for the sign, wouldn't have it any other way. Inside there's some less than ideal seating, but don't worry, because this is Hubert and he seems to approve it, so we're good. He looks oddly familiar though. We got the fart computer. Turns out from reading the description, Hubert is actually an inside joke. This idea came from a little joke, I guess, about a character called Hubert owning a restaurant named Hubert. Wait, I don't want to go. Wow. I love Garry's mod. Hubert is a penguin statue, and upon learning that, it naturally led me down a Hubert rabbit hole. This is the Hubert YouTube channel, which I assume is ran by the same people who made the map. It is genuinely a gem of a channel. They seem to be on day 100 of an everyday live stream of Hubert. The YouTube channel also led me to their merch store. They have a vast variety of clothing. I really like this one in particular. Damn, I actually really want this. This is a Hubert prop. We are insanely lucky to live in the same timeline as this. Links to the map, the prop, the YouTube channel, the merch store, the whole damn archive is in the description. Go show some love to Hubert. Sandbox map, you can do whatever you want. Okay, here we are. This is a very Russian map, but it also has a crazy cool aesthetic, especially with this skybox. Man, it's beautiful. It really goes with the green hue of the gas station as well. An excellent artistic choice by the creator. Speaking of the creator, he's made a couple other really beautiful maps that I suggest checking out. If anybody in the comments knows if this is a real gas station or not, please let me know. I'm not Russian or dragon, so I don't really know. Anyways though, keep this front sign's delicious pastries in mind, because when you go inside, you can see them on the counter. Pretty cool detail. Along with that, you can also see a selection of real-world snacks, and they've got everything here, all kinds of gums and candy, everything your consumer heart could desire. Behind the counter they have the sabak. Sorry to all my Russian viewers, all 0 of you, I have no idea what that means. There's not really much to the back rooms. Whoa, wait, what did I just say? Except for this little abomination. Take a pastry for the road because we're gonna move on to the next map. This next map definitely gets the award for the most beautiful. The skybox is just outrageous. There's not a lot going on here, which definitely inherently makes it low cortisol, and the map is definitely a calm place. Also, there's a bird here, and I'm not sure that's how flying works. But hey man, you do you. Inside the house is one single mat. It's completely empty, no more no less. There's a rickety boat in the water, which genuinely got eviscerated by one crowbar hit. Let's see what the Steam comments have to say about this map. Looks so cozy. Very placid, cereal. What a bird doing? A couple different people mentioned the Came house, which I'd never heard of, so I decided to check it out. Okay, there are a couple of errors, but this is nothing like a calm place in my opinion. Not even nearly as calm. No hate though. I know it's Kame, by the way. I just wanted to piss some people off. We're coming to the end of this map, and that's kind of sad because I really like it here. If you want to play it yourself or any of these other maps, they're all going to be in the description. Okay, this is a Fruitager Arrow style resort map, possibly the lowest cortisol map on this list. I felt like I was on vacation while exploring this map. Everything about this map is beautiful. I envy a lot of Fruitager Arrow designs because if we were a better society, we'd definitely have it. Like, I want random beautiful PNGs on my wall, and buildings where blue and green are the main color scheme, I guess. On the outside of this building, there's an electrical billboard, which I think is showing the weather in different regions, but again, I'm not Russian. This seems to be the logo of the resort, and I guess it fell off where it's supposed to be. Just a cool little Easter egg when you go down this back path. Here's some more Fruitager Arrow posters that display the logo. This building has some elevators that lead up to a common area. It's got some computers where I imagine I'd play CS on a nice beautiful vacation. Next up we got the hotel building. It's been a hot minute since I was able to go on a resort vacation, so as sad as it sounds, being in this Gmod map felt really nice. Cause like, man, just look at this view. Damn, that was loud. Alright, it's time to go down to the beach. Pretty simple, yet effective. Yep, this is definitely a beach. The first thing I noticed were these windmills in the background, along with a really long power line. This map is pretty interesting and probably has some deep lore, which we're gonna try to go over here in a second. For example though, when you go into the shed, you'll find a generator and a written message on the wall. Why does it keep bringing me fuel? What is it with that damn generator? Does it want me to fuel it? I was pretty confused with this at first. If there are power lines coming from who knows where and windmills in the distance, then why does he need a generator? Anyways, let's check out the inside of the snack bar. The left door leads you to a kitchen with a microwave that actually works. I started sticking random shit in there to see what would happen, and nothing really came of it until I put this propane in there. Do not put propane in a microwave. There's a skull in the freezer of this fridge, so you know that's cool. That's low cortisol activity, I'd say. Under the staircase it says, "Thanks for the gas, Semper." Yeah, this guy's going insane. And I'm not surprised because from the looks of it, he spent a lot of nights alone. SOS. Send ostrich sex workers. There's another version of this map that takes place on the moon for some reason. There's a second story added onto the kitchen that doesn't really add much. Zero gravity because of course you're on the moon. It's honestly a lot more chill. Now you wouldn't believe it if I told you, but look at who I found. I guess this is the man, the myth, and he was not here originally. I went away to take some pictures for a second, turned back, and he was gone. So the man or thing you just saw is Semper, and he seems like a chill guy, I'm not gonna lie. Basically, this island is haunted, and whoever goes there usually never comes back. A group of Ark researchers discovered the island, but of course went missing. So it's your job as an Ark rescue and recover crew to get them. But nobody's here, so except for this guy, I guess. But he's kind of dead, and I can't take him out of the fridge. And as for Semper, I don't know, he seems chill. This is one of my favorite maps in the video, and it holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. This map is pretty damn cool, and there's a lot packed into it.
Want to listen to some tunes?
I'm sure you already noticed and flew down to the comments, but this is based off the iconic angry video game nerd room, which now that I think about it is pretty high cortisol, but whatever. There's a lot to unpack here though, so if you have any comments about anything you see, drop it. For me personally, it's a copy of Lego Batman 2 on the Wii. Doesn't this futon look comfy? This is the tactical flashlight. It's a pretty dope add-on that was created and sent by Escape in the Discord server. It's pretty cool. You can toggle it to any key and adjust your flashlight beam with it. Try it out, link down below. Join the Discord if you haven't already. It's pretty chill in there. Alright, this map is disgusting. I honestly don't know why I even added it to this list. Well, I think it's kind of cool, but it's definitely not relaxing in any way, shape, or form. There were a couple parts of this map where my stomach was literally churning. If my voice sounds different right now, it's because I'm getting my ass kicked by allergies. I'm sure you could probably already tell, but this is a look into the human body. They get the squishy bits really accurate and it makes me really uncomfortable. Dude, look at this guy. He's hilarious. But holy, he ate 6 cheeseburgers with still a ton of room to go. This guy's fat as hell. 6 fully intact burgers, by the way. That takes real genuine skill. For the 12 people always liking my posts, you don't want anything from the brutalist McDonald's? This is brutalism. Popularized in 1950s, it was seen by archetypes as a peek into the future. The main focal points are the rudimentary design and use of cement. This style has been used almost everywhere, but in America, the most popular use of this architecture has gotta be the Boston City Hall. I mean, just look at how dystopian it is. It looks like it was made for gmod. Or was gmod made from it? GM Big City, we all know it. Arguably one of the most popular gmod maps of all time. But look at the infrastructure. The way parts of buildings overlap each other. And most importantly, it's all concrete. Very indicative of Western brutalism design, which is mostly comprised of apartment buildings in lower income areas. And these were mostly built in New York. Huh. You don't say. Hold on, wait a second. What does this look like to you? GM Construct is home to brutalist design, but I'd argue the brutalist nature of GM Construct is what makes it so iconic. That's enough with the history lesson though. If you want to see more on brutalism, check out this video. But it's time to get into what you're really here for. GM Brutalist McDonald's. Now this map was based off an AI image. I know, get it out. Boo, boo. The map creator does a great job of making it his though, which I can appreciate. Speaking of the map creator, his name is Johnny Moe, who you might recognize from recreating Abandoned Mall. The outside is the epitome of brutalism. Protruding concrete rooms that don't seem to have any other purpose other than to look brutal. There's a liminal hint to it, mostly with these doors that lead to literally nowhere, along with the inescapable feeling of corporate minimalism, which is incredibly real by the way.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Let's take a step inside. The first thing that caught my eye were these posters. Some of them are just straight lies though. Feel up, feel good, yeah right, my ass bro. This is a quick PSA, do not eat the arch burger, you will throw up. Breakfast. Enjoy breakfast. Anyways, let's take a look at the menu because it's pretty interesting. As you can see, the menu seems pretty normal. Except for this note here.
Please, slowly around. Construction ahead. Thank you.
No, I'm no expert. So what the fuck does that mean? Seriously, we're inside a building right now. But before you guys call me McLark, my only assumption is that this PNG was taken from an outside menu, which makes sense with how the menu is set up. Okay, let's go upstairs. Ooh, new posters. Stop staring at me like I'm a piece of meat. Is this shit real? Yo, the Travis Scott meal. Let's see what Josh has to say about this. Yo, the Travis Scott meal. There's really not much going on the second floor. It's mostly just a dining area, it looks like. On to the third. Ooh, more posters. Oh, they're the same. Chocolate milk. The third floor is home to the play place. I can smell this room. That's how accurate it is. You can actually walk through the tunnels, which I think is really cool. For how my skin was. And there's a ball pit.
Oh, ball pit.
Alright, third floor time. Okay, it's pretty odd to me that there's a second place to order food. Maybe if it's like too busy or something. Also, the note on the menu makes even less sense now. But I guess that's kind of the point with these brutalist builds. Less sense equals better, I guess. There's a door that goes outside to the tumor looking thing, which is my favorite part of this map because out of everything about it, it is the least practical. Alright, this is what I'm talking about. This is Brutal Liminal, also known as Buzzword. This is one of my favorite looks at brutalism in Gmod. I love how big everything is here. I feel like an ant, sorta, if that makes sense. This is definitely the most egregious use of brutalism, but I really love it. This waterfall here is really cool and really goes with the style of the map. Honestly, it goes with the style of brutalism altogether. When making a brutalist structure in real life and in Gmod, it's really important to be abstract. That's why backrooms and brutalism go hand in hand together. In fact, most backrooms media include brutalism in one way or the other. Okay, maybe not most, but a lot of it. The point is, brutalism is so interesting because it looks like something out of a different reality. You can't tell me you'd be walking down the street, see this, and say, oh, yep, there's the big concrete thing. No, these structures are bold outliers in communities, and I think this map captures that really well. For a long time, though, people hated these buildings. The Boston City Hall, for example, which was mentioned at the beginning of this video, faced so much backlash when it was first constructed, and it was almost demolished numerous times. But here we are in the 21st century, and through outlets like Gmod, the backrooms, and the internet as a whole, people have really come around to the idea of brutalism. So maybe those archetypes really were cooking. Maybe they did really peek into the future. Brutalism KFC, also created by Johnny Mo. The only problem I have with both of these maps is that most brutalist designs don't incorporate big windows. The point of brutalism is the focus on concrete, but with that being said, the concrete textures Johnny Mo uses are perfect. He incorporates the wear and tear of a fully concrete building really nicely. Ooh, some posters. You know, these KFC posters don't have the same charm as the ones in McDonald's, but I think that's mostly KFC's fault. Hey, you could take on the daddy burger though. Hell yeah. The menu's pretty normal, nothing too off about it, aside from the fact that it'll always be weird to see real life things in Gmod. I feel like that's what gives it some of its charm though, no? The upstairs is mostly a dining area, except for when you go out this door, it leads you out to this concrete platform that goes all the way around the building. The last thing here is this little private dining room, which is honestly pretty creepy. Brutalist Little Caesars. So this map is really obviously unfinished, so I don't have a lot to say about it. Off rip, there's an upward tunnel that leads up to the heavens, I guess. I don't know, man, being in here kind of freaked me out. It's pretty dystopian. There's literally like a war room in the Little Caesars, and what I can only describe as a cute little slide in the corner. Brutalist backrooms. Yeah, okay, bro, this is the least obvious internet slop. Adding this to my video is an automatic 10 billion views from Israel. Seriously though, this map is beautiful, and it takes rudimentary design to a whole new level. The sound design on top of that is also phenomenal. I know it's not much, but between that and the silence you have of just you and your headphones, along with the random vines on the wall, there's this false sense of safety in the air. Highly suggest checking this one out if you're bored and need a cool map to explore. Brutal offices. Another pretty backroomsy and surreal look at brutalism. This map goes on forever, and I genuinely mean that. The most officey things about it is this receptionist desk that pops up a couple of times throughout the map. That's the main reason I call this a backroom style map. There isn't really a rhyme or reason to anything about it. What I will say though is I love the way people depict brutalism in their own style. Yet another reason why Gmod is one of the best games of all time. And I mean, brutalism and the backrooms just go together hand in hand. If you're a map creator and you're watching this video, please stay creative. In times like these, we genuinely need you. Can someone give me a genuinely counter in the comments? This is Brutalist Tower. It currently has 0 stars on the Steam Workshop, which I think is criminal, especially especially because it's based off this real life tower. I think it's real at least, and I mean it's pretty 1-to-1, I can't argue with it. Links to all of these maps in the description, go show them all some love, but especially this one. The inside is pretty bare bones, but there's a button at the top that's supposed to play funny noises. It doesn't work though, unfortunately. Maybe as a community we can get this guy to fix it. I'm really curious what the sounds are. I love a random internet project. This guy did a pretty decent job of recreating the tower with that iconic gmod feel. Good map, 10 out of 10. Also, this is my 3 map I've ever made. Let's check it out. This is Brutal Brutalism, the brutalest brutalism of all time. As you can see, there are a bunch of errors, but I could not have been bothered to download whatever I needed to download. The structure still really gets the point across though. I love how this map looks. We've seen a lot of different environments in this video, but I think Brutalism looks the best with snow. Just the bleakness of it, I feel like really enhances the Brutalist feel. I have said Brutalist so much these last couple weeks, I'm losing my mind. And I've pretty much exhausted the Brutalist maps on the Steam Workshop. There are a couple others out there that I feel like just wouldn't fit in the video, but let's quickly run over everything we've learned. So what came first, Brutalism or Gmod? Well, Brutalism, obviously. I'm not gonna sit here and say Brutalism completely made Gmod what it is, but I do think Gmod map creators, whether they mean to or not, take a lot of inspiration from Brutalist design. Now I will say that Gmod, in my opinion, has had an exponential impact on Brutalism and where it's at in the world today. The same way I think Gmod had an exponential impact on, say, the backrooms. It definitely has and still is subconsciously piqued interest in the younger generations who come on and play Gmod. Whether they like it or not, they're participating in Brutalism. It sounds like a religion. It's not a religion. To cap this point off, I'll go right back to the beginning of the video. The simplicity and limitations of Gmod. Alright, what's my next video gonna be about?
Then he clicked post.
Oh, what the fuck? God, I'm never getting through this. This map seems to be a love letter to both Malo7 and Roblox. Malo7 is a background character from Half-Life. He is a huge meme in the community. And if you know Ball, you know he was Billy from those Venturian Tale videos. In the spawn area, there's a vending machine that actually gives you soda when you interact with it. Hello everyone, this is your vending machine video. Why do I sound like Daily Dose of Internet? Anyways, there's a sign here that says, "Get to the end to win an epic prize." So I wasted absolutely no time. It took me an unfortunate amount of time to realize that you have to push the cart a little to get it to move, but I got there eventually. So let's enjoy this scenic route on the railroad. Oh shit. Okay, I didn't know this was skill based. Let's try that again. Alright, we finally made it to the end, and that was nothing short of agonizing. I'm never getting through this. I see why there's a prize at the end now.
Ah, Gordon Freeman.
And here it is, my grand prize. Sweet. The next course of action is looking at the comments to see if I missed any hidden Easter eggs. Do not shoot the medic at the end of the obby. Well, frankly, man, you don't have to tell me twice. He seems like a chill dude, and I'd never lay a finger on him.
Stop it, Freeman.
Okay, touche, man. I shoot you in the face a couple times and you atomize me. W comms from this commenter. Dear God, it's all Mario. Now, I don't really know what this comment means. I know the guy he's modeled after is named Michael. But other than like Skibbity Toilet, I don't know what other aliases he has. Take a second to imagine what it's like to be Michael S. Smith when Skibbity Toilet exists. Ugh, what a cruel world. This is a cool little convenience store map that's actually pretty funny. And also Spanish. Hold on, I gotta fix something. Ah, that's better. You're telling me nachos and Pepsi are $35? Bro, what are these prices? They're insane. There's no lore for this map, but only 4 ketchups remain here, which makes me think this takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. Also, you can go in the back freezers, which is awesome.
Hi, my name is Napple.
The legendary Chingos. Tortas! Tortas actually just means sandwich, right guys? Right? There's not much else going on here, just this pitch black room that's pretty unsettling. There's a staircase that leads up to the roof and it gives us a nice overlook of the town, as well as this Jim Carrey Hot Wheels place, which I was interested in, but there's nothing really here. I'd also like to note real quick that there's an updated version of the map. It has some updated textures and it's pretty nice. Okay, so this one is pretty cool. When I first saw it in the Discord, I thought it was just a regular bathroom, but after reading through the workshop description, there's a little more to it. This map is my attempt on recreating the atmosphere and feeling of that one place shown in that one YouTube video. So what is this mystery YouTube video they speak of? Well, honestly, it's no mystery. It's linked right here on the workshop page. The video is titled, "You're in a bathroom at a 2013 party." It plays some 2013 bangers that unfortunately I can't play in this video for obvious reasons. However, I am going to try to replicate the aesthetic. I like what the creator did with this map because there's some cool writing on the wall, such as this one that says, "Your mom is a nice lady. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Don't text your ex."
Okay.
All in all, this is a pretty cool little map based off one image, which I really enjoy the concept of. Also, I like liminal spaces, so it's kind of a given. Bro, GM what doing? I have to see this. So this is GM what doing. The creator himself said it was his first attempt at making a Gmod map, and what an attempt it is, that's all I'll say. Alright, I gotta switch up the music. Much better. We are immediately greeted with this PNG of Jinxie holding a W, as well as the iconic Jeffy what doing fucking picture, I guess. He seems to have made a giant mountain out of them, as well as these strange pillars that upon going on top of, they're comprised of some nice dining areas. There's also a buggy, which I used to traverse the map a little bit. That didn't last long though, because there's a very unsuspecting cave in the mountain that I got the buggy stuck in immediately. I love the fact that all of the Jinxie PNGs were hand placed. Like the creator definitely thought to himself, yeah, this belongs here. This map is certainly a brilliant display of architecture, and the map link will be in the description if you want to gaze your own eyes upon it. Highly suggest you do. This video is sponsored by me. Huh? Well, actually you, if you become a channel member. For only $1.99, you'll get access to exclusive emojis, the member-only Discord channel, and your name will get a spot in every one of my videos. Let's check in on the 2 current members. Being a member feels great. Also, for $5, you'll get access to exclusive member-only content. Okay, I love you all. Back to the video. This next map was actually made by someone in the Discord, and when he sent it, he specified that there were a couple Easter eggs, so I'm gonna go try and find them. And while I'm doing that, let's take a look at this map. My favorite part about it is how early Gmod it looks. Something about these source engine textures just really tickles my fancy. It really reminds me of my childhood because it's what I fell in love with as a kid. Seeing those old source engine Gmod maps as a kid just gave me a sense of wonder. It was almost as if I couldn't process that somebody had sat down and made them, if that makes any sense. Anyways, over in this room over here, there's a camera system, and it actually works, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I found one of the Easter eggs, and you have to go up this elevator to get to it. But up here on the rafters, there's a fridge and a hula girl. Believe it or not, but this building I'm about to walk into is actually a school. These classrooms remind me of those old Minecraft school videos. The next secret is in this vent, but I didn't know how to break it, so I ended up just no-clipping through it. I'm starting to see a theme with these hula girls. I genuinely couldn't find any of the other secrets, so if you see me getting flamed in the comments for that, feel free to join in, I won't mind. Also, go download the map and find them for yourself. Alright, so this is a pretty interesting one. It was created by Redstone Co., who you might know for making Everpine Mall, a map I talked about on the channel a little while ago. Redstone Co. describes it as an exploration map inspired by Dreamcore/Weirdcore aesthetics. And yeah, it definitely hits those marks. There are some entities that you can go up and interact with. For example, this one that plays a little jingle when you interact with them.
Wow, this map is peak.
Aside from that, the skybox is genuinely beautiful. Such a cool vaporwave feel to this map, and I just adore it. Now there are multiple sections, and to get to the next one you have to interact with this balloon. This next area is a flowery path, I guess? There's a little flower dude, and if you go up and interact with him, he'll bring you back to the beginning. The next area was short-lived in my playthrough because I immediately interacted with this balloon to get to the next one, but this is definitely my favorite in the entire map. It incorporates these cubes that we saw in the distance, which I really appreciate. This section of the map is really unnerving, but also really calm in the same sense. Also, what is an Nexus? There's a door over here, and once you go through it, okay, yeah, I'm hyped right now. That is honestly the furthest I made it, but there's probably more to this map that you should go play yourself. Link in the description as always. Wow, this map is just beautiful. Take a quick second to admire the views. This map would have gone perfect in my low cortisol video. It's honestly kind of a shame I didn't know about it in time because it's really beautiful. You know what though, better late than never. I am beyond thankful that someone sent it in the Discord server because it's really nice. You can't go in any of the buildings, but I think that honestly works for the map because the aesthetics make up for it. A lot of the time with gmod maps, the outside aesthetics are really nice, but once you go into a building, it kind of kills it. Most of the time, especially in early gmod, I think this was due to a lack of props. When maps are able to do that though, it makes it 10 times better. An example off the top of my head is Arrow Shores. The creator furnished all of the rooms really nicely, while also keeping For the 12 people always liking my post, y'all want anything from the Liminal McDonald's? This is Liminal. Okay, well that was weird. Let's try that again. This is a liminal space. And so is this. And this. And this. And this. And this. And this. Okay, wait, no, that's my cat. Point is, there are a lot of different liminal spaces. And it should be a surprise to absolutely nobody that as soon as this trend came out, gmod map creators would jump on it immediately. But why do liminal spaces work so well in gmod? I'd even go as far as arguing that gmod map creators were pioneers in liminal spaces. And this goes back to the very creation of the game, which I'll get into. But first, what does it mean to be liminal? Well, okay. You remember those days as a kid? The days where you practically run home after school to get on the computer and play gmod, just to open the 7-Eleven map and spawn a bunch of zombies? Those are the days we remember fondly and have the most nostalgia for. Well, it just so happens that liminal spaces play a lot in that nostalgia factor. In a lot of cases with liminal images, they like to trick your brain into having nostalgia for places you've probably never even been to. They do this with lack of specific details. And you know what else does that? That's right. Garry's mod, or more specifically the source engine, I suppose. This is a pretty simple McDonald's gmod map that I think gets my point across pretty well. McDonald's is a really recognizable place, somewhere we all wanted to be at as kids and probably have very fond memories of. Pair that with these bland gmod textures and the overall basic look of the restaurant, and you have yourself a liminal space in gmod, not to mention the emptiness of the ordeal, which is another huge factor. And you know what? Oh, come on. The backrooms and liminal spaces are synonymous with each other. They're both very different concepts, but the backrooms uses liminal spaces as a base of operations. You take something that's already terrifying like the backrooms, and pair it with something that's confusingly nostalgic, and what you get in return is something like this image. Quote unquote backrooms levels do this quite often, and I mean for a horror genre, it works really well. Imagine being trapped here by yourself, somewhere so vaguely nostalgic that it's almost scary, and there's no escape. Ah! Talk to me. Dude, what the hell are you doing? We gotta be looking at gmod McDonald's maps. Hello? Now let's look at some old gmod maps that I think were the pioneers of liminalism in gmod. Alright, this is the last McDonald's map, I swear. You've probably seen it before, it's pretty popular, and has also been around for a really long time. It's one of the more detailed, older gmod maps. Don't get me wrong, the PNGs are still shitty, but come on, that's where all the charm is. And it's probably a big reason why these maps give off the same vibes as liminal spaces. I had a friend recently mention to me that seeing random PNGs on gmod textures just pasted on is the reason why it looks so weird. And yeah, you know, that makes a lot of sense. Especially in older gmod maps, it's like they're trying their hardest to make it look as real as possible without trying at the same time. This is House V3, a map that was posted to the workshop in 2013. It was featured in a ton of Venturing Tale videos, and when you get the right angle for this house, it's pretty liminal. Why is there a park style trash can in here? The only thing holding this map back from being truly liminal is how cramped it is. So let's change that real quick. I guess I forgot that you could easily just delete items. But here's what I got. Let me know what you think. There was a bunch of stuff that I couldn't get rid of, but I think I accomplished my goal. But I feel like we could get even older and even more classic than this. Like GM 7-Eleven. The basement area is full of liminal slop. And I mean, just look at Flatgrass, or at least what's under it. Come on, tell me you don't get the same vibes from this as you do from this. You can really find liminal spaces anywhere throughout this game, and it's really just because of the unsettling nature of it, which is most likely why there are so many horror mods and creepypastas written about it, and why again, it should be no surprise to anybody that gmod creators jumped onto this trend. It's like liminal spaces were made for Garry's mod. But what if we apply the actual definition of something being liminal to a liminal space? This is the Google actual definition of liminal. Occupying a position at or on both sides of a boundary or threshold. That can basically be summed up as the point between destination A and B, while at the same time provoking some kind of discomfort. So how do you display this in a picture? Maybe with an empty house before someone moves in, a completely empty store that's closing down, or perhaps with a hotel hallway. In my opinion, hotel hallways are some of the most liminal spaces, at the very core of the phrase at least. If your bed is point A and the pool is point B, then the liminal point is the hallway. This Gmod map has no intentions of being liminal. It's even based off this old meme, which in itself is pretty liminal without the people. As of right now though, it's just a very long school hallway, just means of getting to point A to point B, and it does a great job of being liminal without even trying. This Party City map is incredibly liminal. Not only is it liminal by definition, with it seemingly being on the verge of closing, but it also just so happens to be really nostalgic. And the classic Gmod pasted in PNGs adds to the aesthetic really well. These Darth Vader and Spider-Man pinatas had me going back and looking at some of my cherished childhood memories. This map reminded me of this image the most. There's just such a weird vibe when it comes to looking at party images like this. This one specifically always gives me a crazy vibe. Do kids even still do these throne rooms for their birthdays anymore? I never really see these anymore, and I mean, I don't go to a lot of kids' birthday parties, but the last one I saw was probably when I was 8 years old. Party rooms kind of look like this nowadays, and well, they're still liminal as hell. I find it incredibly funny that companies post these not knowing that they're posting literal liminal space, backrooms level core fucking slop, I guess. By the way, this Party City map has no intentions of being liminal whatsoever. Gmod maps are simply just built like that, and I love it so much. Do you guys remember like the flying ghouls they'd have in the back during Halloween? Those always scared the shit out of me. Anyways though, they're not in the map, unfortunately. Let's go through a couple maps that are based off images. This is one of my favorite liminal space images, and it's very popular specifically in the backrooms community. As far as I know, this image was taken in a Borders bookstore. Whatever that is. I suppose it's an old bookstore, obviously. But apparently, a ton of these Borders bookstores closed down in 2011, which would explain why there's no books on the shelves in the images. If this image was actually taken at a Borders bookstore, which I'm not sure. But it's only right that someone would go out of their way to make a Gmod map based off the image. It's pretty one-to-one to the original image, and there's a lot more to it than you'd think. As you progress through the map, you can find a bunch of different backroom style rooms, as well as a couple different variations of the end room. This pool room is my personal favorite. There's just some about it. It looks so cozy. There's also this cool office room, which out of every room in the map, I think captures the back rooms the best. Other than the end room, I guess. If you go up this ladder in this storage room, you'll find these like apartment rooms, which I didn't fully process how weird that was while I was recording. But now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it's pretty weird. I'm a really big fan of the amount of effort the creator put into this map. It would have been fine with just the end room, but he went above and beyond, and I can definitely respect that a lot. There are a couple of different maps out there that set out to recreate these types of images. I will say though, before we get into this, viewer discretion is advised. I'd say this is a bit more dreamcore than liminal. In other words, I know! Anyways though, this map in specific just kills my computer for some reason. But if you go over to this car, you can actually hear that the engine is on, which I think is really interesting. There's honestly not really much to this map. The interiors are pretty cool and liminal. My only gripe about this one is that they don't have a water tower, and it kills my computer. Alright guys, I have really good news. This one has a water tower. Also, in my opinion, it has way more of a dreamcore aesthetic, and I think this comes from the glare of the skybox. Looks very nice. There's also a car on this map, which I find pretty interesting, but unfortunately, you can't go into any of the houses because they're all locked. At a certain point while I was roaming around the map, some music started playing. I am a really big fan of how simplistic this map is. The houses don't even have any textures, which I really don't mind at all. What I love the most, however, is how perfect they got the grass and the sky, which is something I think the other two maps were very much lacking on. You know, I mean, these are cool and all, but didn't we just do these with the McDonald's in the back rooms? I mean, technically, isn't that a picture? I mean, like, come on, dude.
This whole section just feels like you're trying to stretch out the video.
I mean, the least you could do is come up with a genuinely good,
Hey man, get me out of here! Get me out of here, man!
You've probably seen this place before. This is a Gmod map based off the iconic image of a hotel courtyard. This image blew up in the height of liminal spaces and the backrooms. The eerie vibe comes from the fact that everything is indoors. Yo. I did not know this map was haunted. The image also leans into the idea of transitionary spaces, with it being in a courtyard with a view of all the room windows. Small thing I'd like to point out is that this music was actually taken directly from the map. If you interact with this record player, it'll play this fire beat. All map links in the description. We start here. A lobby with 5 distinct paths. There are lights flying overhead, which seem like they mean something, but don't be mistaken. Nothing in this map means anything. Also, there's a bird. Room number 1. The house is 2 houses no clipped into each other. A rather fitting start for this map. To the left is the spinny hallway room, which is very disorienting. A pretty regular looking house. When you open the door to the other room, things become quite warped and colorful. The warping leads down to this corner of the room with only a skull. The next room in the house is flipped on its side with a window that's looking outside. In the other room / lower level, there's a door to the right which is actually locked. To get to the next section, you have to go through this hidden door. This part can get a little confusing, so bear with me. We're gonna start on the left with this very colorful room. It's actually kind of scary because if you close the door behind you, it'll blend in with the room. That's honestly about it though. Now we come to a little bit of a fork in the road. Up this staircase, there are 2 separate doorways, one on the left and one on the right. We're gonna go to the door on the left, and it's to what I consider the calm before the storm. It's a room with what seems to be flowers on the ground, along with walls that are painted as a landscape. It's really quite peaceful and a little nostalgic. Don't you dare get comfortable though, because we need to go to the next room. The old cuck chair room. A dark room with a single chair lit by a light overhead. Not much else to say here other than it's ominous as hell. If you decide to go to the path on the right, you'll be met with this. We'll come back to this a little later. For now though, unlike Karl Anthony Towns, we're gonna go straight. Yes, I am a Salty Hawks fan. Anyways, going straight leads us into this hallway. I will say the music works beautifully here. It made me really want to get out of this section. Like I was in a race to get to the next segment or something terrible would happen. And here we are, a ladder that goes straight down. When you go down the ladder, you're presented with a new hallway. And if you go to the first path to the right... Now, I don't know if all saloons look like this, but I feel like this is based off the iconic Red Dead saloon where Arthur loses Lenny. And of course, it uses the same music from that scene. Also, outside the saloon, it's really muddy and slushy. Ugh. Now, as much as I'd like to yap about Red Dead for the next 20 minutes, which I could do very easily, it's a beautiful game, we got a giant ass map to explore. So going back out to the hallway, we're presented with another 3 paths. Remember what I said about this getting confusing? Alright, whatever, I'm gonna go down the warped one because it looks cool. This will lead us to the plaza, one of the larger sections of the map. It's pretty nonsensical. What I mean by that is there's a tree with a bunch of different lights illuminating off of the branches, except for yellow, of course, because yellow is beaming either out of or into a toilet. Don't ask me. At the other side, there's a bar, which you have to do a little parkour to get to. Almost there, and there's a stunning looking pizza hanging off the side of this concrete. Damn, bro, I was examining the hell out of this pizza. Hungry ass, bro. I had to have been starving. Inside the bar, it is fully stocked. And, oh, lovely. Through this door is a room split between 4 different themes. There's also a tesseract in the middle of the room. Does it have any deeper meaning? I don't know, man. Probably not, because it's all abstract. You're gonna hurt yourself if you try to give meaning to all these rooms. Okay, back to the hallway. If you go to the left, you'll walk past this elevator that doesn't work, and then you'll make it all the way back to the... So this is where you'd end up if you went straight in the fork in the road hallway. So we're gonna come back to that after we explore the door to the right. But first, we need to see what would happen if we went straight in this hallway. The next room is bouncy, and I mean that. Boing. Boing. I don't feel like downloading a sound effect. The room leads us to this new path, which is only sorta new, because it's exactly what we're gonna explore if we go straight at this path. I genuinely hope you guys are following. Anyways, let's go through the door to the right. Wow, more doors. Don't worry though, none of these open, they're all fake. Except for this one at the end of the hallway, which leads us into this tiny fan room. Not much to say here, it's just a tiny fan room. This leads us into a very regular bathroom, like possibly the most regular bathroom I've ever been in. Trust me, I looked everywhere, there's nothing wrong here. Yeah, but this shit's about to get stupid, so. The path upward immediately breaks off into 2 parts. And this is where the map really turns into a headfuck maze. I chose to go to the right, to this grass path here. A pretty calming scenery before what's about to unfold, so just take it in for a second. Going out of the pool room will lead us down this path, which will eventually lead us back to this, which again, we'll come back to. After going back to the grass room, I saw this discolored wall, which was obviously another path, and curiosity got the better of me. It was a long path. This footage is in 4x speed, but eventually I stumbled upon another room and more paths. This section has one of my favorite songs throughout the entire map. It matches the vibe perfectly. This room has a window that looks up to 2 distinct city buildings. And of course, those lights are still flying overhead. Looking into the buildings, they look just like regular working spaces. Before we move on, I just want to say I tried to make all these paths connect for the video, but as you'll see here in a second, I just don't think that's possible. For instance, coming out of this room, we have 2 separate paths, but on the left, there's also 2 separate paths. It's so confusing, which is obviously done on purpose. I decided to take the right path though. At first glance, this kind of looks like a diner, but looking closer, I don't really know what it is. The booth-style chairs don't really make sense, and the tables are too small for anything, really. We go under this garage, and oh my god, look at all of these paths. Do you see what I mean? I decided to go to the right, like I do with most of these, and it brings me to this hotel-style hallway with a couple of doors. Oh my god. You probably have to be in the moment, but this scared the shit out of me. The next room was really dirty and had 4 beds with 2 dead corpses on them. The last room was pretty normal. A cleaner hotel-style room with a window that seemed to look out to the flower room, interestingly enough. To get to the next area, you have to go through this door, which will lead us to a quaint, relaxing dock area. Still a very eerie feeling, but also very relaxing. I don't know how to explain it, but the dock in comparison with the boat feels small. I don't know if that's the game playing tricks on me, or if it was done intentionally, but whatever it is, it definitely works to give off an eerie feeling. If you go back into the hotel area, there's another door. We're brought into yet another hallway, but this time the doors on the sides are locked. The only door that can be accessed is at the end of the hallway. To me, this looks like a break room, but honestly, it could be anything. The register on the counter definitely doesn't help. The only way we can go is back, so let's do that. So we're back to this 4-way intersection, and I didn't notice there was a gun on the ground when I first passed this area. Anyways though, I decided to go to the right yet again, and that led me to this new hallway. This hallway eventually led me to some parkour. After perfectly executing the parkour with flawless b-hops, it took me to this vending machine room with a single hole in the ground. This next room at first glance gives off the illusion that it has a mirror, but it's not. It's a window that's looking down into the same exact structure. One of my favorite rooms in the map. In my opinion, it's one of the most abstract here. When you see a watermelon, you just know it's not going to make sense. The floating cars will do it too. The room over has a set of lockers and a single bloodstain on the wall. If you continue on, you'll come to this split room with 2 separate sofas. What does it mean? What do you think it means? Leave your guesses in the comments, man, I don't know. Up a bit further is a control panel. Pressing E on it does nothing though. Leaving this section takes us to a path with 2 separate turns. But first, we're 25 rooms deep into this map, which means we're halfway through. So let's give a quick recap of what's going on. I drew up this map to make it make a bit more sense, but even this is a little confusing because some parts overlap each other. Anyways though, I hope you're enjoying the video. Let's get back to it. I went to the right, which led me to the shower room. Neither of these next 2 sections have music, so you're gonna have to just bear with me. Another pool room. Cool. This one's a bit more traditional than the last, except for the waterfall that's coming down into the pool. And you already know I had to jump off the diving board. To get to the next area, we have to go down a pretty long path, but it's worth it. The next room has a series of flat pillars in the middle of the room, with a car that cannot be parked here.
Everyone, get in the car!
The jokes just write themselves, honestly. There's a window in the ceiling revealing those moving lights. Leaving this area brings you to a ton of new paths. It may look confusing, but it's honestly the least confusing part of the map. A red path with a bunch of clocks floating in the sky. At the end of the path, there's a lone doll sitting on a clock. When you go straight from the 4-way stop, you're led down this grass path. Each internet comments, I'm touching grass, I don't know. Now, I don't know if I should consider this small cute room a part of the path or make it its own room. I'm honestly like that for a couple of these areas, so we're just gonna have to see by the end of the video. Going straight leads us to a couple more paths. I chose to go straight, which led me to this BS. I didn't add this fuck-ass music, this is from the map. I got trolled, bro. Fuck. If you go to the left from where we were, it leads you to this nice little cabin with a cool bench and cool music. This is a really cool effect here where when you open the doors in one cabin, it opens it in the next. I didn't even know you could do that in gmod, so it's pretty cool. There's some more paths here, which is pretty annoying, but they're not too complicated, so it's okay. I continued going straight and that led me to this library. Pretty eerie stuff, especially because there's no music. It's just noise. Until you get a little further into the song, when it gets even eerier. Going to the left path, we're brought to this room. A completely tile room with 2 separate dolls on each side. The way they're set up makes it look like some kind of ritual maybe. I low-key fucking dropkicked this one into the water. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Going straight leads me to my all-time favorite room in the map. It's so unique and it describes GM Flux so well. I mean, look at it. It's a literal flux, I guess. If that makes sense. You know what, it's my damn video and it does make sense. I really love this part for how little sense it makes. I mean, none of these buildings look like they belong together, and it's on a weird patch of grass. Anyways, going out of this section, I realized that we just did a whole loop. So I decided to go to the right because it hadn't been explored yet. And the cool part is, this room right here is the cityscape room. Whoa. I think one of the coolest things about this map is that each individual playthrough will go differently. And things that you think are far away in your head are actually a lot closer than they seem. Anyways though, here's the next room.
Well, off to visit your mother.
Here we have a ball pit room with 3 distinct slides. There's a ball pit on the roof and a ball pit on the floor. You know, just normal stuff.
I've got stuff.
The next room is a bit more dreary, but also a little beautiful at the same time. It's a really relaxing graveyard with some cool fog and cool landscaping. Another cool aspect about this map that I'm sure not a lot of people are thinking about is the amount of sceneries. You get 50 different sceneries, give or take of course. You can record any amount of skits and be as creative as you want with these scenes. I've never been more compelled to drop into something. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what I did. Bruh. I forgot to mention, did you hear that little jingle? That sound plays every time you find a secret. Pretty cool. Anyways, I ended up back in the lobby, so I decided why not take a different path. Also, yes, these doors open. Is this a room? Do we consider this a room? We shall see. Anyways, the path led me to a door, which led me to a staircase. After going down, we come to this city-looking area. Everything looks pretty normal until you look to the left. There seems to be a crater in the ground, but upon further inspection, it's actually just a hole that goes into the void. Hidden in this little corner is a door, and it leads you down to this gassy sewer system. There's a light illuminating this door, and once we go through it, my #1 favorite song in the soundtrack, Whoever Made It Cooked. There's a series of doors here which lead to rooms with slightly different paint jobs. Some are simpler than others, some are a little more nonsensical, some are a bit more Estonian than others, and some are a bit more Israeli than others. But one thing is true about them, and that's that they are all different. I'm keeping the same damn music, it's too fire, but I noticed while looking for a new path that the door on the other side of the city is actually locked, and there's a PNG cube car. There was no other path from there, so I decided to go back to the lobby and go through this path. At first, this really looks like a painting, but as you get closer to it, it's just a bunch of green Gordon Freemans. There's a garage door here and... oh... this has gotta be one of the darkest scenes in the map. But then you go through here and it's all okay. Because listen to that sweet, sweet melody. It's in this museum style room where we either have some assets to the map or some random bullshit. I think I'm gonna go with some random bullshit. I was not fucking with the box dog. This Dr. Kleiner has definitely done something wrong. I don't even know what to say here, honestly. In here we have some random pictures, which I can always appreciate in a gmod map. There's one thing I forgot about, and that's that we have to go straight at the fork in the road hallway. If you go all the way up this ladder, it leads you to a little Easter egg. This next room kind of reminds me of GM Construct. I think it's the basic source elements for me. In this room there's a button that makes a staircase. The staircase will lead you into a hallway lined with computers. The next room is pretty terrifying. Behind the structure is a dead body, and I could only imagine this being the place where I spend my final moments. The other path in the GM Construct looking room leads us to this. I don't know, man. We follow another path which leads us to this road. A car has fallen into this hole. Could be a joke here, I don't know. Who knows? Going a bit further, we come up to this motel looking place. There's a little pool in the middle, which is kinda weird. I don't really put anything past this map anymore though. Oh, look at where we are. I told you we'd come back to this because we needed to get to some of the other rooms. Like this railroad. This railroad has a train that is doomed to perpetually keep moving. Next up is another completely tile room. I compare a lot of gmod maps on this channel to the back rooms. I tried to avoid it with this map because I do think it's its own thing, but in my opinion this room does closely relate to the back rooms. I'm sorry. And here we are, the home stretch. You've heard me yap your ear off this entire video, so right now just sit back, relax, and enjoy what remains of this video. There have been over 66,000 gmod maps uploaded to the Steam Workshop since 2013. Some of them really good, with others uniquely different. The type of different is slap the twin towers in the middle of the map and call it a day. And those types of maps are usually left with no visits and maybe a mean comment or two. This is what we in the industry like to call slop. But we're going to be focusing on something different. We're going to be trying to find the hidden gems of the Steam Workshop. But this is no simple task. It took hours of sifting through the Steam Workshop to find these hidden gems. And we're going to have to grade these somehow. I'll be using the official Jart metric. Patent pending. So join me and let's go see what we could find in the depths of the Steam Workshop. The first map of the video is based off a Mario clone that was uploaded to the internet. The premise of the game is that something evil is happening and you need to fix it. Wow. When trying to download the game, I got a pop-up saying the website was under quarantine. And you know, that's not usually a huge problem, but for something like this, I'm not trusting it. Thankfully though, there's an option to play it on the web browser, so I opted for that. I'm sure PopCap had nothing to do with this. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this next part on YouTube, so I'm going to give it the live leak treatment. This level introduces the Glumly, who you can kill by stepping on their head, and the Tegri, who I guess you can't kill. This game kinda does look like something your friend would play after taking a test worth 80% of his grade. But you know, it's not AI, so a win in my book. At the end of the level, you press F on this wall and you're done. The garrys mod version is actually hilariously faithful. The skybox is just the background pasted 5 times, which is sorta accurate to the game. While not as graphic, the little enemy dudes do still explode. And you can still break the wall, but you have to use your crowbar. I'd give this map on the official Jart gem rating, I don't know, I give it a 67%. I really liked how accurate the map was and how goofy the concept is, let alone it's based off a level of some niche Mario clone. The fact that it's a Mario clone though is the only thing that knocks it for me. Per usual, links to everything will be in the description. Oh yeah, this map only had 129 unique visitors. Alright, I'll be honest here, I don't really know if I should put this next map on YouTube. It's called GM Albert's House, and it really seems to me like this little kid just put a bunch of pictures of his buddies in a Gmod map and then posted it on the workshop. There's even this weird little isosceles trapezoid with roleplay on it. I'm not reading this shit out loud. And on top of that, there's another isosceles trapezoid with a damn Steam profile on it. The most normal thing here is a TV with some Binding of Isaac gameplay. To the direct right of it, there's a gun that's made entirely out of pictures of some random girl. This map is just so weird and bizarre. It's unlike anything I've ever seen in Garry's mod. It looks like it was made by someone who has schizophrenia. Okay, breaking news, this is about 12 hours later. The map has been completely removed from the Steam Workshop. Now, I don't know if the kid took it down or if it was removed, but it was honestly probably for the best. This is by far the most popular and coolest on the list. Still, with only 854 unique visitors, it deserves a hell of a lot more. Most everything in this map is in black and white, and that really complements the hand-drawn look design. It's sort of reminiscent of some specific parts in the Sad Satan game, just without the CP, and I wouldn't be surprised if the dev got a little bit of inspiration from it. I really love these 2 pillars with the vines, they're just so tough. Big arrows pointing into a mouth, gotta go in, no other choice. I guess we have the option between left and right, and you know, it said please. So this seems to be a little hospital. It's pretty cool. It's got cinnamon. The design of this desk girl in black and white is a little unnerving. More arrows pointing down a hole. Your wish is my command. Looks like this is a cool little train station. I don't know who this fella is though. Well, hold on. This ain't right. Nice. Why is it boarded up? This is the coolest part of the map, and there's a Nyan cat. Oh, but he's sad and hungry. In this house, there seems to be a Bill Cipher, and I'm gonna let you guys explore the rest. I'm gonna have to give this a SS+. Super good. Genuinely no complaints here. It's one of my favorite maps I've reviewed on the channel. The next map here is honestly kind of Russian slop, but that's okay, because this might be the best visualization of Russia we have. Huh? Ah! Like I said, one of the best representations. This map is coming in with 89 unique visitors, and you know, that's just honestly a crime. You start here, and I'm just sure this is hilarious. You come out to this pretty unsettling room that reminds me of that one scene in the back rooms. See, look, there's even a lamp. W reference? To the right, there's what I can only describe as a kitchen, maybe? For all my Russian viewers, what is this bottle? You come out through this door and are greeted by some nice Russian civilians. Ah, the motherland. Mindlessly and ignorantly hating on Russia aside, when you traverse these hallways, you're greeted with this probably AI picture of the Hulk. Continue on and you'll come to this dead end, but once you break the wall, you'll find a bunch of Dr. Kleiners, who all immediately started blasting my ass. I had to pull out the big guns. Now, I don't know what any of these signs say, but I'd have to guess that this is some kind of lab. And there was one more Dr. Kleiner, but I hit him with these W peaks. There's a big arrow that points you to the staircase, but plot twist, because as you're running up, this happens. Yep, more Hulk slop. Please, Russian viewers, let me know what this means. In exchange, I'll let you know what this says. It says, this shit laced. You're welcome. Now, it's safe to say that I don't have a damn clue about what's going on here, which is concerning because this seems to be the 16th installment of this series. But I can't knock the map for that. It's the fact that I can't read Russian. So let's translate the title and maybe we'll get a better idea of what's going on. The title roughly translates to Vanya's Pigsty Part 16. In the context of the lore, I'm pretty sure the Dr. Kleiners are Vanya, and again, somehow there are 15 sequences that come before this. Yeah, I'm still confused. Let's see what the comments have to say.
Is this really the end? Fucking great. The end of the story.
That's what it says, all there. On the Diamond Purity rating, I give this a 96%. And if you couldn't tell already, this scale is kind of bullshit, so don't take it too serious. I bet you thought we were just gonna be looking at happy-go-lucky, sunshine and rainbow. I'm gonna take away all illusion of suspense in 3, 2, 1. This map is called The Fog is Coming and uses this picture as the thumbnail. I can't give it a lick of seriousness, and it's because it's usually paired with this song. Those who know what else this song is popular for need to be seriously evaluated. Anyways though, the map takes place in GM Construct, but all the entrances to the buildings are boarded up. I walked around a while trying to see if anything else was different, until this happened. What? I tried again, checked out the secret room, but there was nothing in there, and then got hit with the BS. Why is this my background? So there you have it. That was The Fog is okay, I can't do it. This map had 500 unique viewers, but I think it had a couple hundred less when I recorded this footage. But yeah, man, to me, this picture isn't really unnerving because it's just a meme, honestly. But I did get a really good chuckle out of playing this map, so I'm gonna give it a good. This next map is one of my favorites because of how simple it is. It's called GM8 and the description reads, the map of 8, a pretty simple map with a single building at the moment. I'll try to add more, with awesome cat pictures free of charge. Now, I saw cat pictures and I knew this map belonged in the video. We've got a very cool collection of 3 cats and a dog. Since the creator said they wanted to add more, I asked them if it would be okay if they put my Discord's pets in there. They still haven't responded, but if they do, I'll let you know. In the meantime though, consider joining the Discord. There's some chill people there. On the Jart scale, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a pretty good. Now, you know what, I'll give it an extra good. It deserves it. The map only had 30 unique visitors, so go show it some love and maybe you'll see my comment. This next map either requires extreme ball knowledge or is surface ball. It honestly really depends viewer to viewer. There's really not all too much to this map, and it doesn't give away a lot of information as to what it's from. Honestly though, I'm not going to explain the lore to it, I'm just going to show you this image. If I don't see at least one comment dropping the most in-depth breakdown of this episode, I'm going to be very disappointed. The map only had 45 unique visitors though, which is a little weird to me because of how coveted this episode is. Anyways though, I'm gonna give this map a lucky ketchup packet. Now that is niche. That's niche. If you caught that, let me know. Alright, I lied. This next map is my all-time favorite on the list. Somehow this map only has 119 unique visitors. The map is called Trade Files, and in my eyes is a look into somebody's computer files. This map has a bunch of 2000s core pictures, liminal spaces, old advertisements, and a ton of different stuff that'll undoubtedly give you nostalgia. I love walk and look maps like this. They always tickle my fancy. It's just so fun seeing collections of pictures that a creator can put together. And with this specific map, it's like looking into a scrapbook of the internet. They also had some really nice calming music playing, and that's why I highly recommend checking out this map. It almost seems like an experience. One of my personal favorite pictures is this picture of Zoe with some fire drip on. Also, something about this really caught my attention. I think it's the contrast between the colors of the fireworks. There's just so much to see here that I really highly recommend checking this out. Especially if you're having a bad day or you're just stressed out, this might be the map for you. You also have these funny little egg dudes, so I mean, what's not to see? This, in my eyes, is definitely getting an A+++. If you disagree with any of my BS ratings, feel free to leave a comment. Okay, we all know GM Construct, right? Give me a second, hold on. Take a look around. This is what you clicked on the video for. The dark room, the big mirror, the memories made. It's all right here in this video. But what if I told you there was more to it? There are thousands of different iterations of GM Construct, with each one having a little bit more detail than the last. So, let's explore them.
Same place, same time?
Be there.
Alrighty, so today we're going to be exploring 15 different iterations of GM Construct. Well, 14, but 15. I don't know, you'll see. I needed that cool little 7K, if you know what I mean. GM Construct, but, what is this one again? I really can't remember. I mean, nothing really seems off here. Injecting it.
Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
I was playing a bit there for a second. I knew this map was haunted, but that genuinely startled me. I wonder what it would do to someone who didn't know. I wonder what it would. So I invited my friend Rivers, and he thinks we're just recording B-roll for this video. Little does he know.
The hotel?
Yep.
Stop recording me!
I don't want to be on the news, please. Do not put me on the news.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the hell? What was that?
So I guess the map decided to be less scary as soon as I brought a friend on, but that's okay, that's okay, let's try again.
Okay, hold up. How do you respawn? How do you respawn?
I got you.
That's Maxime, the newest victim. Links to both of their channels in the description. Yo.
How bad am I? How bad?
What is that? Wait, she has feet, bro.
Wait, can you see the bottom?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Oh.
Bro. We should have installed like a shadow.
Dude, I swear to God, I just saw somebody.
Yo, no.
What?
No, I actually just
You saw it?
somebody. I actually just saw a character.
I thought I was tweaking. I thought I was tweaking.
Yo. GM Construct 27. Oh my goodness! 1.7 gigabytes. That's bigger than Terraria. So this is pretty much the result of messing around in Blender for a little bit, and I'll be honest, it looks incredibly badass. What we're in right now is actually the secret room. It's a little bit hard to traverse this map because everything is see-through, and I'm not gonna lie, I think OBS was kinda dying trying to record this, so I'm not gonna stay here too long, but I implore you to please go play this.
You implore me?
That is enough of that. Good map, 10 out of 10. GM Construct Arrow, a fruitager arrow take on the construct. The first thing that caught my attention was this PNG of an assortment of other fruitager arrow type PNGs. Very nice. The secret room in this map is pretty bare bones, but I got hit with a wave of nostalgia when I saw this old TV guide. So simple yet impossible to control as a kid. When you go up the hill, there's a swimming pool for some reason. This building had a CD on it, and there was no mirror in the mirror room for some reason. The buildings outside of the construct were replaced with sharp futuristic towers, and other than that, it's pretty bare bones out there. They did keep the satellite dish looking thing, which I think is really fitting. The music in the background of this map makes me feel like I'm in a dream. But you can turn it off with the TV. Something cool I noticed is that grass literally renders in front of you as you walk through it, and that's pretty cool. GM Construct VOT V. This is a no texture version of the construct, but there's a bit more that meets the eye. You see this impact mark? This signifies a change to the specific point in the construct. I think there's lore here, but I'm not entirely sure. If you know, comment. Never mind, I figured it out. You'll see in a second. You can still comment though. Let's go over each specific addition. The dark room has a chair in the right corner. Also, there's a bloodstain right outside of the dark room. In the third floor, the main building, there's a bunch of stuff in the right corner. There's a buggy in the spawn building, which is pretty much just used to drive around the map really fast. There's a burger in the far right building.
Burger?
So I just did a little research, and this map is based off a game called Voices of the Void. VOT V, yeah, that makes sense. It's a pretty interesting backroom style game. If you're interested, I suggest checking out this video. Link in the description. I say based off, but I don't know if there's a GM Construct level in Voices of the Void, so it was kind of a guess. GM Construct V1P. This is the first one that I genuinely have no idea what it is. On the workshop, the creator used this goofy ass skeleton. No other pictures, by the way, just this skeleton. Some notable features are this disconnected spot right here. As far as I could see, there's no real reason for this to be disconnected. There were also some really random lighting changes, which makes me think this is a test map of some sort. I really don't know though, I'm just a fat chud. GM Construct under new management. A bleak and dreadful version of the construct that just looks like he got the life sucked out of it. By who though? Well, who other than Nintendo? As you can see by this Nintendo propaganda here, they have taken complete control over the construct. By the darkroom, there's these signs that say,
If you are caught processing or developing fan projects, your computer will be confiscated.
and they weren't lying because the darkroom turned into the disposal room. What the fuck is this? So what this map creator is saying is if Nintendo ever got a hold of anything, they turn it into an internment camp. And I agree, low-key. GM Construct Minecraft. A complete port from Minecraft to Gmod of the construct. That's right, man. Even the secret room. I explored a lot of maps for this video, and one of my favorite things to come out of that was seeing how much the secret room changed from creator to creator. Also, how the f do you work this disable music button? Here are the credits, by the way. Link in the description for all these maps. I suggest you check them out. Taking a look beyond the construct, there's a Minecraft sun, and they decided not to add any of the buildings that are usually on the border. And you know what? I think that's really okay with me. I like to look at the flatlands. Really adds to the Minecraft aesthetic. Also, you can't just normally jump up blocks, you have to crouch jump, which is kind of annoying. If anybody knows what this block is, please leave a comment. Kinda looks like wool and obsidian combined. GM Construct Flooded. This is a flooded version of the construct. There's not much more to it other than the fact that it looks really good. GM Construct No Water. Yep, there's no water here. GM Construct Rainy. Listen to this aesthetic without the music real quick. Beautiful sound design. They added a couple things such as this tree, this shack looking over the pond, and they actually did away with the secret room, which I guess they didn't need it. The only reason they made it in the first place was because it doesn't rain enough where they live. As someone who has a similar experience, thank you. Also, I appreciate them making the staircases down to the mirror room wheelchair accessible. Very good touch. Because of the hazy look everything has, the dark room isn't fully dark, and that's pretty funny. Lastly, they changed all the textures on the map to make it look more wet, I suppose. Good map, 10 out of 10. GM Construct Tunnels. This is a pretty interesting map that focuses on a more backroomsy feel, and it definitely hits the mark in my opinion. I mean, GM Construct already kind of looked like a backrooms level. Backrooms content has been very diluted over the last couple of years, but I recently finished this game called Backrooms Escape Together with my boy Rivers, and it's given me a whole new appreciation for the media. There's definitely menacing outlooks to this map that make it feel like a true backrooms version of GM Construct while also including almost every aspect of it. There's a white room, a pitch black area, some really menacing water, and of course, Sprite Cranberry. I just backroom maps solely off if the vibe matches somewhere I wouldn't want to end up, and I would 100% not want to be here. Hey, I mean free watermelon though. GM Construct Bender. Nothing is really different here other than the fact that you can go outside of the construct, and for some reason the secret room has a bunch of chairs in it looking at 13.
This man is giving me a 13-year-old girl!
GM Construct Ruins. A destroyed and war-torn version of the construct. Everything is destroyed here in one way or the other. The buildings inside the construct, the buildings outside of the construct, and yes, of course, even the secret room. And when you go down... oh shit. In the spawn building, you'll find ammo boxes, and if you go down to the mirror room, it's actually shattered. Can't have shit in GM Construct Ruins. It's also see-through, so we can't even really have a proper mirror either. It's crazy how much love and detail was put into this map because not only was the bright room broken, but the light switch next to it was as well. Over in the lake, the water has been replaced with this green sludge that hurts you when you walk in it. I'd say if this map was good at anything, it's letting you create a headcanon for what's going on. And that's one of the best things a map can do in Gmod. While I was exploring the map, it was reminding me of the Invincible War, mostly because of the color palette, but I think the map creator was going for more of a Half-Life type of deal. And after actually reading over the lore of the map, that seems to be the case. For this next map, we're gonna go a bit deeper into the Steam Workshop. This is so dumb, girl. This is GM Construct, but it's completely rotating. Honestly, who comes up with this? Whoever did though, thank you, because this was a lot of fun. So much fun, in fact, that we're done with the segment. For the last map of the video, we are going all the way to the very end of the workshop. Alright, man, you know what, whatever. We'll try it out. GM BS, bro, I don't know. This isn't even related remotely to GM Construct at all. Is this even a good way to end the video? Like, does this really do the video justice? Honestly, yeah.